Pay attention to these images. Can you tell what this is? Thank you. These lights you're seeing now look like something out of a science fiction movie, don't they? But they are real, and at the same time, terrifying. What you're seeing is the Orechnik, Russia's most advanced hypersonic missile. A missile capable of traveling at Mach 10. That is, more than 12,000 kilometers per hour. So fast that no defense system in the world can intercept it. But that's not even the scariest part. In November 2024, Russia used the Orechnik for the first time in Ukraine. Each of those flashes is an independent warhead hitting the target. The Orechnik carries multiple warheads that separate in the air, and it's impossible to defend against all of them at the same time. A single missile like that can devastate an entire military base, or wipe an urban block off the map. Now, pay attention to this. In November 2025, Alexei Zhuravlev, one of the main deputies of the Duma, the Russian parliament, made an explosive statement. Moscow is ready to deliver the Orechnik missile system to Venezuela. That's exactly what you heard. Russia is saying it could place this missile in Venezuela, just 3,000 kilometers from Florida. And this is happening right now, in the middle of a massive United States military escalation in the Caribbean.
The largest aircraft carrier in the world is approaching Venezuela as part of the United States' operation against drug trafficking.
The United States ship Gerald Ford has joined the United States Southern Command in the Caribbean. With 4,000 men on board, the aircraft carrier will reinforce the United States military presence in the region.
The largest since the invasion of Panama. On November 13th, Pete Hegseth, the American Secretary of Defense, named Operation Southern Spear. The official objective: to fight narco-terrorists. At first glance, all of this seems like a masterstroke by the Kremlin, right? Stop and think about it. They threatened the United States in their own backyard, forcing the Americans to pull back from Venezuela. But there's a problem. But first, have you checked out our store with military-themed t-shirts? See how cool this Ukrainian Special Forces shirt is? These shirts are great for anyone who likes Russia. Because this could be one of the dumbest decisions Vladimir Putin has ever made. To understand why, we need to see what's happening in the Caribbean now. This Operation Southern Spear set in motion the largest display of American military force in the region in decades. There is the United States ship, Gerald R. Ford, the newest and most powerful aircraft carrier in the world, accompanied by at least 8 warships, including guided missile destroyers and at least 1 nuclear attack submarine. Between 10 and 15,000 American military personnel have been deployed to the region. F-35B fighter jets, the most advanced combat aircraft of the United States, are operating out of Puerto Rico. And in El Salvador, attack cargo, 130 Ghost Rider aircraft, true flying platforms of destruction. Maduro knows the United States isn't there because of the cartels, but because of him. And he has a much bigger problem than most people imagine, because the Venezuelan army is a paper tiger. On paper, Venezuela has an impressive arsenal. Russian Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jets, S-300 anti-aircraft defense systems, BUK systems, top-of-the-line military equipment. But practically none of that works anymore. The Su-30 fleet, out of the 21 or 22 planes that Venezuela has, only a few fly occasionally. The S-300 systems, which were supposed to be the backbone of Venezuela's air defense, are in a state of severe deterioration and complete collapse of capability. The reason? Lack of maintenance, lack of parts, lack of technical knowledge. These Russian systems are complex machines that require constant maintenance, and Venezuela simply doesn't have either the resources or the knowledge to keep them operational. So, when that American fleet started to approach, Maduro did what any desperate leader would do. He called Moscow. And this is where the story gets interesting. Because did Russia respond? On October 26, 2025, a Russian Ilyushin 76 cargo plane landed in Caracas, the Venezuelan capital. The flight was not direct. It took a winding route, stopping in Cuba, Nicaragua, countries under Russian influence. A few days later, the plane flew back to Moscow, stopping in Algeria and possibly picking up cargo. That's when Alexei Zhuravlev made that bombastic statement we mentioned. Russia had just delivered Pantsir S-1 and Buk M2E systems to Venezuela, and he even threatened. Information about the volumes and exact names of what is being imported from Russia is classified, so the Americans might have some surprises. Then came the nuclear threat. I don't see any obstacles to providing a friendly country with new developments, like the Orechnik, or let's say, the proven missiles. Caliber. Think about what that means. The Caliber has a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. Launched from Venezuela, it could reach Miami, Washington, Houston, the Panama Canal, and Orechnik. That hypersonic missile we saw at the beginning, placing it in Venezuela, would be like repeating the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. A direct threat to American territory. At first glance, Putin seems to be playing chess on another level. He's opening a second front, forcing the Americans to spend resources in their own backyard, taking the pressure off Ukraine, and, on top of that, saving a strategic ally. It seems brilliant, right? But let's take a closer look at what's happening on the other side of the world. Because, while that Ilyushin 76 was flying to Caracas carrying Pantsir S-1 and BUK systems, Russia was literally on fire. Throughout the summer and fall of 2025, Ukraine launched a systematic campaign of attacks, with drones targeting Russian energy infrastructure. We're not talking about sporadic attacks. We're talking about hundreds of drones, night after night, specifically targeting oil refineries, and they're meeting their goals. Refinery after refinery was hit. In some regions, up to 14% of refining capacity was destroyed or damaged. The results were devastating. Russia began to face gasoline shortages, huge lines at gas stations, and prices skyrocketing. 10 to 20 regions of the country were affected. The situation became so critical that the Kremlin was forced to ban gasoline exports, a desperate measure for a country that depends on energy exports to survive economically. And here is the crucial point. The systems that could defend these refineries are exactly the same ones that Putin just sent to Caracas. The Pantsir S-1, for example, was specifically designed for this. It's a short-range defense system made to shoot down drones, cruise missiles, and low-flying aircraft. It's the perfect defense against the kind of attack Ukraine is carrying out. And Russia desperately needs it. Every unit it has, so stop and think about that for a moment. Russia is under attack. Its energy infrastructure, the foundation of its entire economy, is being systematically destroyed. Its people are facing fuel shortages, and Putin decided to take the defense systems that could protect those refineries and send them to the other side of the world, to a country that probably can't even operate them properly. And you know what's even more ironic? Venezuela has never operated the Panzer S-1 before. This is a new system for them. Operating and integrating these systems with the existing air defense network, which is already falling apart, requires months, if not years, of training. The Venezuelan army, which couldn't even keep its Su-30s flying, is suddenly going to operate advanced Russian systems. Of course not. The only way for those Panzers to be operational right away is if the Russians themselves are there operating them. And this is where the story gets disturbing, because that Ilyushin 76 may not have brought just equipment. It may have brought Russian operators, maybe mercenaries, possibly from the successor of the Wagner Group, now called Africa Corps, Russian operators on Venezuelan territory, but without official uniforms. Mercenaries, the perfect move for Putin. If they succeed, he takes the credit. If they are captured or killed, he denies any involvement. And it gets even worse for Putin. Because all of this is happening at a time when his relationship with Trump is at its lowest point since Trump took office for his second term. For months, Trump tried to negotiate peace in Ukraine. And for months, Putin stalled, made empty promises, and kept bombing Ukrainian cities while pretending to be interested in negotiating. On October 22nd, Trump canceled a scheduled meeting with Putin in Budapest, publicly stating that he didn't want a wasted meeting and a waste of time.
The message
was clear. Trump no longer trusts Putin. And the next day, Trump implemented new devastating sanctions against Rosneft and Lukoil, two of Russia's largest oil companies, sanctions that could cost the Kremlin billions of dollars. Putin was stunned. The relationship was already bad. Now he's sending weapons to a country the United States calls an enemy. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. A complicated situation, but do you want to know what's really going on here? The truth is that Putin isn't an idiot. He knows all of this. But then, why would he do something so apparently suicidal? To get to that answer, we need to understand the position that Putin is in. Why can't he win militarily against the United States, in the Caribbean? The power asymmetry is absurd. An American nuclear aircraft carrier against a Russian cargo plane. There's no comparison. But Putin also can't politically afford to abandon Maduro. If Venezuela falls, Russia loses its last significant ally in Latin America. Its reputation as a global power, already shaken by Assad's recent fall in Syria, would be destroyed. Putin can't win, but he also can't lose. So, he's doing the only thing he can do. A bluff, an expensive, risky, and desperate bluff. He sent enough equipment to create doubt, enough to force American military planners to consider. What if they really have operational Panzers there? What if they shoot down an F-18? What would the political cost be? He used a loud-mouthed parliamentarian, Zhuravlev, to make apocalyptic threats about Orechnik and Calabar. But at the same time, his foreign minister, Lavrov, publicly denied that Venezuela had requested military assistance. And with that, Putin created his own way out. A parliamentarian threatens, a minister denies. Now, if he needs to back down, he just has to say it was misunderstood. We never said that officially. They call that modern warfare. Putin isn't sending troops to face the Americans because he knows he would lose. What he's doing is creating doubt, creating enough risk to make Trump hesitate and think, is it worth the risk? It's like a poker player who's almost out of chips, but bets everything he has on a bad hand, hoping the opponent will fold. The problem? The chips he's betting are the same ones he needs to defend himself at home. The truth is, this probably won't even work. Trump has already shown that he's not afraid to use military force. He bombed Iran, attacked Yemen, and now he's looking at Venezuela, with the largest fleet he's sent to the region in decades. The idea that some anti-aircraft systems will make him back down is, at best, optimistic. As you can see, we're facing a scenario where a nuclear superpower is risking its own domestic security and diverting critical resources from its own defense, all just to make a bluff. Meanwhile, their refineries are burning, their people are suffering from fuel shortages, and the war in Ukraine, the war that has already cost hundreds of thousands of Russian lives, continues with no end in sight. An end in sight. Now tell me, do you think Putin is making a calculated bluff, or did he really make a fatal strategic mistake? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you like this analysis, share this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next content about geopolitics. See you next time!